G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Now, this topic I'm going to bring up about Jalen Carter, you guys might already know he was involved in the crash 6 to 7 weeks ago. So this theme of the video, yes, it's horrific, it's terrible, it's awful, but I kind of think it needs to be talked about to a certain degree. So I had a comment from Rod the other day, and I woke up to this comment. Was today, right? I woke up and I didn't even know about this story existed. I don't watch, guys. I don't watch the mainstream news anymore. I'm not a big fan of the mainstream news, so I miss a lot of stories involved in that space. But Rod left a comment yesterday and said, arrest warrants for Georgia Star lineman Jalen Carter for reckless driving that killed his teammate and staffer, and said that's sad for everyone involved. And I 110% agree, right? I had no idea that this incident or accident even happened on January 15th, where two cars were drag racing, running around, driving around, and one car that involved the two teammates, one staffer and a teammate of Georgia, were involved in the crash and died. And Jalen Carter is also involved in that incident. Now, guys, in this video, I will be reading from two articles, one involving the incident to get a bit more light on what happened in the situation, and another article is linking now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now linked via CBS, one of their mock drafts. They think from this situation, even though it's a horrible situation, they think that Jalen Carter might fall down to 17 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it might be the best place for him to go because he's pretty much his draft stock's fallen from what's happened. Now, first of all, let's read what happened because it's going to catch up some of you if you don't know about the story. I only found out about the story yesterday, right? And it's horrible, absolutely horrible. This shouldn't happen. Just please drive safe. Top NFL draft prospect Jalen Carter faced a charge of a crash that killed teammate and staffer. All right, and he's like the number one, I think, defensive tackle prospect in the draft. Georgia Star defensive lineman Jalen Carter was driving recklessly in the crash that killed one of his teammates and a team staffer. Police issued arrest warrants on Wednesday for the top 2023 NFL draft prospect who is currently at the NFL Combine in Indy in connection with the January 15th crash. Carter was driving a 2021 Jeep Trackhawk in a manner consistent with racing, right? The morning that the Georgia player Devin Woolock and recruiting analyst Chandler LaCroix died, right? So they were drag racing or racing each other. Devin Woolock and Chandler LaCroix passed away in an accident, which is horrible. Now, going down even further, it says, the evidence demonstrated that both vehicles switched between lanes, drove in the center, turned lane, drove in opposite lanes of travel, overtook other motorists, drove at high rates of speed in an apparent attempt to outdistance each other. Basically, Steeler Nation, that's a drag race. They're drag racing for fun, being stupid, and at the end result, it cost them their lives. It cost two people their lives. That's pretty much what they were doing. So it's a horrible situation. Now, as I read further, right, evidence indicated that shortly before the crash, the expedition was traveling at about 104 miles per hour. That's super fast, man. That is dangerous and deadly speeds. Says here, an Atlanta Journal-Constitution report on Wednesday said that Carter, 21, told police he was about a mile away from the crash, and then later said he was following the car that had been crashed. Carter then told police per report that he was alongside the other car. The report said Carter left the crash scene and returned 90 minutes later. Now, here's the part of the story where obviously Jalen Carter freaked out. He freaked out. They were doing something dumb and stupid, driving stupid, recklessly. The car in front of him that had the victims of the accident crashed. Obviously, have passed away, and he's driven away, right? Now, I'm not saying what the right or wrong thing to do is, but at the time, when these things happen, you don't know what to do. You have no idea what to do, right? He drove away. He's obviously lied to police, and then now he's told police that he was there, and the crime scene is figured out there was two cars involved and that kind of stuff, right? So that's insane. Like that's just crazy. He says, yeah, Carter then told police per report he was alongside the other car. Reports of the car, Carter left the crash scene and returned 90 minutes later. So obviously high stressful situation was at play, and he didn't know what to do. Carter was scheduled to speak to reporters in Indy on Wednesday, though he cancelled once news of the arrest warrants broke out, which was today, right? He released a statement on Twitter. It is my intention to return to Athens to answer these misdemeanor charges against me and make certain that the complete and accurate truth is presented, Carter wrote. There is no question in my mind that when all the facts are known, that I will be fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. Says here too, Carter's reps told Athens Clark Police that they were making arrangements for Carter to turn himself in. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart said in a statement, these charges were deeply concerning, especially as we are still struggling to cope with the devastating loss of two beloved members of the community. We will continue to cooperate fully with authorities while supporting these families and assessing what we can learn from this horrible tragedy. So that's insane, man. First of all, stay safe on the roads. Young drivers, stay safe. The more I do Uber Eats, the more I drive. I try and drive sometimes 2 or 3 hours a day. I'm super careful on the roads, but you need to stay safe. You got to stay aware, be smart, and just be aware of your surroundings when you're driving out there. Don't do anything dumb. There's a lot of death toll and tragedies and car accidents in Australia like this, where 2 or 3 people are driving, hooning around, drag racing, and then the worst of all worst case scenarios happens. The people die, the drivers die, someone's in an accident, and then you see flowers on the side of the road and you go, that could have been avoided, right? That could have been avoided. Now, let me bring up the other one, because with all this news going on, there is now a report from CBS Sports that CBS Sports thinks the Pittsburgh Steelers could get Jalen Carter at 17, right? So I'm going to read that out next. Which one is it? Here we go. All right. So let me bring this up, and I'll scroll back a little bit. Okay, there's Jalen Carter, round 1, pick 17. But they go through the whole thing. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I will link these 2 articles in the description below if you want to read them. It says here, NFL Mock Draft 2023 from CBS Sports said Jalen Carter falls after being issued arrest warrant. Now you scroll all the way down, right? And possibly with all this stuff going on, I could imagine that the stock, his draft stock is falling. Do teams want to pick up this guy with the amount of baggage that is surrounding him, right? It says here, Jalen Carter, defensive line, Georgia, 6'3", 300 pounds. The Steelers stopped the Carter fall and feel they have the right coaching structure and locker room to handle everything that will come with making this selection. And that is 110% true. Now, if he does fall, right, first of all, this situation is horrible, and Jalen Carter has to deal with this throughout his whole life. Knowing if he was involved in the incident and he did, and his actions resulted in the deaths of 2 people, you're going to hold that on your shoulders forever and ever and ever, right? And that's why it's terrible. So, but going back to football, and where does the draft's coming up? The draft's a month away, right? However horrible it is, how will this affect him as a person? How will it affect him as a football player? And how will this affect the team that maybe drafts Jalen Carter? Now, CBS Sports thinks that the Pittsburgh Steelers will draft him at 17 because they think that the other teams don't want to deal with the baggage, right? Let's play that scenario. We know it's going to be a tough time for this individual, this man, Carter, to deal with everything. And thoughts and prayers to the families who are involved in this tragic incident. We know it's going to be a hard time to know that you were a part of this, and you've got to move forward living your life. I know me personally, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I would feel sorrow and remorse every single day. Now, if the Pittsburgh Steelers, if he does fall to 17, as crazy as it sounds, the Steelers would be a good environment for Carter there. We need defensive tackle. The Steelers need help on the defensive line. And out of this situation, to the band of brothers like TJ Watt, Minka, Cameron Haywood, Mike Tomlin, players coach, right? Those kind of guys in this locker room, even Kenny Pickett, Frymouth, you know what I'm saying? These dudes in this locker room would rally around Jalen Carter, okay? Now, we don't know what's going to happen with the charges. Will he go to prison? Will he serve time? I don't know. Will he be fined by the NFL league? Can he be fined by the college? I don't know. I don't know about that stuff. But what I'm saying is, if this does affect his draft stock and possibility, will he even be drafted? Is this much of a bigger issue where will he even be drafted now? I don't know if teams want to touch this kind of issue with the drama around that a player was doing dumb things, lied to the police, or said, you know what, I was never there, and then he told him I came back 90 minutes later, right? But in this scenario, CBS is saying, you know what, the Steelers might be the best place, right? But guys, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think the Steelers would reach out to Jalen Carter there at 17? Of course, that would help our defense. But overall, in my opinion, guys, I do believe it's a massive distraction. Not really. I don't think it would be too much of a distraction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin can handle these kind of things. He's a player's coach. We're a good organization, right? We rally behind our team. I don't think it would be a distraction for the organization. I think it would be actually, no, I know it's going to be a lifelong distraction for Carter himself to deal with this situation that if he wasn't involved in and his actions were the result of two deaths, that's going to be very hard to stomach and deal with for the rest of your life. And I would not even put I wouldn't even put my worst enemy in that situation. I think it's friggin' horrible that is even a thing that happened, right? But now they're saying that his draft stock is plummeting. So yeah, guys, just wanted to bring you those two stories, one from Fox Sports and one from CBS. One basically detailing the incident, what happened, and another one saying, well, this did happen, and where is he going to go? Where is he going to fall in the draft? Does he go high? Does he go at 5? Does he go at 6? Does he fall from the first round that people don't want to draft him that high? Or is a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers willing to take that risk, bring on all the baggage, bring on all the drama, and help him throughout this situation as best we can as the Pittsburgh Steelers? Right? Let me know in the comments below. I know it was a very long video today. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think of the situation. I overall think it's a horrible situation. Please drive safe. Drive safe. I see it too much out there. We have young drivers who are 19, 20, 21 years old, hooning around. Please drive safe. All right, guys. Thank you for checking out Steelers Australia. Thank you for checking out Steelers Nation Australia, and I'll see you later.